Well, another little update on the compressor. I have information. Welcome to the man cave. Let the games begin. Right, welcome back to this instalment of the compressor, and I have remembered the pressure gauge. Right, I had a kind message from a man called Bernard, who clearly knows a lot more about air compressors than I do. And can I get this damn gauge in? That came out, that should go in, there we go. Now then, couple of things. When I had this thing to pieces, I know the basics of compressors. I know that it compresses the air in this cylinder, pumps it through this heat shrink pipe to this cylinder, which then pumps it into the tank. I didn't know what these valves on the top were for, and this pipe work. Because I've seen other two-cylinder compressors that don't have this. And I wondered, well, what is all that for? Well, the viewer Bernard tells me exactly what it's for. I assumed, because this had an electric motor on originally, with no on and off switch, or no automatic cut-off switch, that it just ran and ran and ran, and when the pressure got too much, it just blew it off this blow-off valve. That is wrong. That is not how this compressor is meant to work. That's what these two little knoblets are for. What happens is, there's a diaphragm in these, in here and in here, because I've had these out of the head to clean them. And there's a diaphragm and a little rod stick out the bottom. I will take one out on the next video and show you, because I'm going to set them up. But basically what that does is, that's piped into this T-piece, which runs down into this thing. Now this is like a blow-off valve, but it's a pressure release valve, so this is preset to a certain temperature. You can adjust it on this wheel. So say for argument's sake, this is set to 150 psi. When this compressor gets to 150 psi, it releases air up this pipe into these diaphragms, which push down on the little needles, which push down on the reed valves, so the compressor stops charging air. So, and then it'll just vent the air out of the air intakes. So what this basically means is, it don't just keep building and building until it blows off. It builds to a whatever pressure this is set at, and then it don't charge any more than that. So when that get to 150 psi, for argument's sake, the little diaphragms open, push down on the reed valves, so that unit doesn't generate compressed air anymore. It just vents it straight out of here. And then when the pressure drops below 150 psi, these retract and close up again, and it starts charging. Your blow-off valve is just a safety precaution. It is just, you know, the final thing. In case all this go cattywampus, it's not going to keep going and going and blow itself up. This is your emergency, so if it blows out of there, you've got problems. Now what I'm going to do in the next video, I'm going to take, because I've had these out, and if you look, there's thread and lock nuts on them. And when I took these out to clean them, I took the lock nuts right off, and I never counted how many turns out I took these, because I didn't know what they were for. So when I put them back in, I just put them in what I thought was right and tightened the lock nut down, thinking it didn't matter. Now my worry is, I did notice when I took these out, I could see the reed valve down there. If I've got these set too far out, so that the little pin was sticking down, if that's too far away from the valve, either on this one or on both, it could just keep charging and charging, and that won't have the reach to push down on the valve. So I think I need to adjust these. Now how I'm going to do that, take these out, I'll do that on camera, get my calipers, measure down there to the reed valve, and then I can use that distance between the bottom of the nut and the bottom of the pin and subtract 2 or 3 millimeters. Do you know what I mean? So I can sort of basically set a gap up in these, so I know that's set. Or the other way could be, they're in too far, and it won't build up hardly any pressure, because it's constantly only, you know, it might only be pumping it up on one of the cylinders, not two. So either way, I'm going to have these out again and do that. And also, this pressure gauge I took to bits, because I've had it to pieces and I'm not sure how reliable it is. I have ordered a new one, so when that turns up, we'll fit that. But for today, I was just going to tell you that we're going to put a new gauge and we're going to set these up and what these were for. So now we know what all this is for. Thanks to Bernard, we can, you know, we can get on, and yeah, we can clearly see now that yes, vents the high pressure up there, pushes down these, so this unit can't generate any more air. When the pressure drops, they close up, this starts generating air again. Constantly turning all the time, that is. So yes, that's it. That's basically today's video. A little 5-minute video of what this thing is, you know, what all this pipe work was actually for and what we're going to do. But I can't really do any of that until I get the new pressure gauge. And yeah, we're just waiting for it. But apart from that, that's all. I think we're all pretty good to go. We're all pretty good to go. And that old gauge what's on there, I'll put that on the regulator because the needle's missing off that one. So I can reuse that one on there because that ain't so critical. That's the crucial one, because that's your main vessel pressure. So that's basically it for today. And I just want to mention as well, one of my young subscribers got his own YouTube channel called NotLadYT. That's NOTLAD YT. Check his channel out. He's a young lad who's getting into the hobby, and he does need, you know, he needs some subscribers on his little channel. He's got a couple of videos on there, but pop over and check his channel out, because let's face it, it's the youngsters like that that have got to take over this hobby of rallying and old engines. The other one's got to take over when I've gone, you know. So we need to keep these young ones in. So pop and have a look at his channel. He got a couple of nice little engines you can have a look at on there. So NotLadYT. And yeah, I shall leave it there for today. Thanks for watching. When I get the new pressure gauge, we'll get all this set up and get this thing pressure tested. Right, bye-bye for now. Ha ha.